Hey guys, check out this cool mini I just painted with matte varnish. Matte anti-shine varnish. Matte? That means not shiny! Hey! Whoa, dude, calm down. It's gonna be alright. No, it's not. It says right here, anti-shine. And this is clearly shiny! No, seriously, you figured it out. What? Yes. And after a long process of looking up a bunch of different things on the internet as to why this issue is happening, and trying 3 different matte varnishes, I figured out the problem. I was just being dumb. Because check this out. It even says on here, apply 2 to 3 very thin, underlined. Seems like a lot of people had this issue, not just me. Turns out that was the problem all along. I was just applying too thick of coats. That thing probably has like 8 coats of different varnishes on it because I just kept trying and trying and trying, and it just got worse and worse. And I know I already have a video with this guy completely finished, but I wanted to make this its separate video because I know I'm not the only one that's ever had this problem. So now I'm going to try to explain why thin coats work with matte varnish on this here fancy piece of paper. Okay, so I'm pretty sure this is the issue. So you got your guy over here. Say this is your miniature. He's cheering. And he's all happy because he just got painted and stuff, right? So there's his arm, there's the side of his body, here's his leg. But anyway, so you got all of him all painted, and now you want to protect your paint with a matte varnish. And you don't want glossy because that looks like crap. So obviously the varnish is not this thick of a coat, but just bear with me, okay? So imagine that this here is the layer of varnish that you put on, okay? There's particles in matte varnish that make it matte. And those particles always, this is just what I think, this is my theory on it, okay? And this makes sense to me. The particles that make it matte will always go as close to the miniature as they can. I believe these are called, it's called talc, T-A-L-C, which is apparently what makes a matte varnish actually matte. But anyway, it seems to me that all those particles sink down to whatever they're being sprayed on, right? So this is the layer of varnish that you put on. So if all of those get close to the mini, then there's no matte particles on the surface to make it actually matte. So then this is just shiny. It reflects all the light in the world. Whereas if you say, okay, so I'm going to draw this again. Okay, here's your guy. Again, he's happy because he's painted. So instead, if you put a thin layer of matte varnish on, again, there's not this, it's not this thick of varnish, but this is just for demonstration, okay? If you put a thin layer on it, then all those particles, those matte particles, will actually be on the surface of the varnish. So then the light comes in and it doesn't really get reflected because of all those particles on the surface. Whereas here, the light comes in and it just shines like crazy. Because I spread it on too thick, those particles aren't on the surface to absorb that light. Whereas here, the light comes in and those particles just kind of eat up the light and it doesn't reflect. Solved. So now I gotta fix my stinking stupid mistakes, which takes a lot of different coats because I have to cover up a glossy surface. I think it took me like 8 very light coats to do this. Ideally you don't spray in the cold or humidity but it works okay to just spray outside and then instantly come inside to let it dry because it won't dry properly in those conditions. Doing it this way does bring in some of the smell, but you're not getting the overspray floating around in the house, which is really the worst part of it. If it's nice out and you spray in light coats, you can actually just lightly blow on the miniature and watch the layer dry to a matte finish, which is kind of satisfying. Still should have at least 2 coats to protect the mini. And here's a before and after, which shows how much better it looks with a matte finish. I hope this video helped somebody who was also going through the infuriating, annoying, aggravating, disturbing, disappointing, depressing, disheartening, baffling, burdensome, worrisome, wicked, and vexatious frustration of a matte varnish being shiny. Be sure to hit those thumbs up, subscribe, and notification bell buttons, and I'll see you later.